All right, good morning. We are going to continue on with our math lesson today, and we are doing section, let me make sure you guys can see this. We're going to be doing 3.6, Associative and Commutative Properties of Addition with Fractions. So we're going to write Associative and Commutative Properties with fractions. Okay, so most of this should be easy for us to remember because we kind of did, well, not kind of, we really did associative and commutative properties a long time ago. And if you recall, the associative properties of addition kind of look like this. This is the commutative. And recall that it looks like this. I can take any two numbers, and as long as I'm adding them, I can change the order that I add them, and it won't affect the results. So A plus B is the same as B plus A. And taking a quick example, I can say 4 plus 2, which is 6, is the same as 2 plus 4, which is, not surprisingly, I hope, still 6. And this allows us to move any number of things around in our equation as long as we are only adding them. So notice the things are only being added on this side, only being added on this side. In a group of things being added, we can switch them around in any order that we want. Quickly recall that the associative property is the one that I described it as like how people talk in their associations and who they move with. In this one I can say if I'm adding three things, A plus B plus C, and I use my parentheses to associate the A and the B, I can change it to being this, A plus B plus C, and it doesn't affect the result as long as things are being added. I can even remove that parentheses. I can even switch things around. It doesn't matter as long as things are only being added. Take a quick example. I can say 4 plus 2 plus 7 is the same as 4 plus 2 plus 7. And if I was going to reduce these, I was 6 plus 7 equals 4 plus 9. 6 and 7 is 13. 4 and 9 is 13. Unsurprisingly, I hope, it works out and we're all good. Okay, so today we are going to be using these properties with simplifying fraction expressions. Okay, so recall again that an expression has no equal sign, and they just represent a number. They express a number. They show something. And lots of times, especially now that we're including variables, they may be long and complicated, and our job is going to be simplifying them, because we take expressions and we simplify them. If we had an equation, we would solve it. But we can't solve an expression because we don't know what it's equal to, okay? So what we're going to be doing in this section is things are going to kind of look like this. I'm going to go to my next page because as usual, I write big and like to murder trees. So let's take a look at an example of this. We're going to simplify the following expression. Check out my placement. Example 1. Our expression looks like this. 2/7 plus y plus 2/7. So, 2/7 plus y plus 2/7. Well, the y is kind of different and confusing, but what's nice is I can use my commutative property in this problem, and I could rewrite this if I wanted by switching the y and the 2/7 like this. 2 over 2/7 plus 2/7 plus y. Oh, well now I can add the 2/7 and the 2/7 together, and it's much easier than it was before. So I can get rid of these two terms and turn them into a 4/7, if you recall from our adding of fractions that we just did yesterday, plus y. Now, from this point, I can't get this any simpler. This is my simplified problem because I can't add a regular number with a variable if I don't know what that variable is. Now later they might say set y equal to this, but we're not doing that this time. We are just simplifying it so that we can work with it later. I forgot to write the directions on this one. Simplify. Oh, I even forgot to number it. Man. Let's look at example 2. Now, unsurprisingly, they're going to get a little bit more difficult. This was a super simple one. Let's take one where we look at this. It's 2/5 plus x plus 1/3. Oops. 2/5 plus x plus 1/3. Well, I'm going to use my commutative property like I used before to kind of move that 1/3 in front. Now, I know that you're writing it in this case during your examples, but on the homework you don't have to show me using the commutative property because you can kind of do that part in your head. It's not particularly difficult. Later I will want you to show it when we're doing and working with equations. For now though, we're going to continue doing it. So I have 2/5 plus 1/3 plus x. Well, if I want to add 2/5 and 1/3, I'm going to have to find a common denominator. And a common denominator that I see between these is 15. So to turn 5 into 15, I'm going to multiply both by 3. I'm going to add 1/3. 1/3, if I'm turning it to 15, I'm going to have to multiply by 5. And that's going to give me 2 times 3 is 6 15ths plus 5 15ths plus x. I'm going to simplify this and kind of scrunch my two real number terms together. 11 15ths plus x. Then I have to check, can I simplify this any lower? Definitely not, because 11 is a prime number. So I know that if I ever have 11 of something and one at the top or the bottom, I can't make it any smaller. I'm done. I've simplified. Got it? If you feel like you get it, go ahead on. I'm going to do 2 more examples. Example 3. All right. Let's take a look at this one. We have 1/2 plus 1/2 plus x. Oops. Supposed to be a plus x quantity. So in my normal order of operations, I would have to do this, but I can't simplify 1/2 plus x. But what I can do here is use my associative property to move the parentheses around the first 2 parts. So now I can add these 2 together, so I can have 1 plus x to simplify it using that way. I find the associative property is easier, and they kind of jump out at you because the parentheses are there. Later, when you do higher math, when you're in high school and college, the parentheses become more and more important and trickier to see. So it's good that they jump out now, and it's easy to see. Last example that I'll do on this one, we're going to simplify the following expression. We're going to do x plus 4/9. That is a terrible 4. Sorry about that. Plus 2/9. Okay, again, I'm going to use my associative property, and I'm going to write x plus 4/9 plus 2/9. 4 plus 2 is 6, so I know that I have x plus 6/9. Now, I'd be tempted to be finished because that's where I was doing all the other times. But this should kind of scream out to you in your head, not simplified, because I know if I'm count by 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, both of these show up on that list. So I know that I'm going to be able to fit 3 into both of these. And if I divide 3 on both sides, I can have 2/3. So my real answer is x plus 2/3 is my simplified unit. Okay? There are a couple word problems in this one. but they're mostly just adding fractions, similar to what we were doing before. So it should not be particularly difficult, and good luck.